you said maybe she's going to be in trouble now, and she says maybe he can learn to read the Constitution would be a good place to start. She's continuing her resist efforts against your efforts, Tom.
Look, I forgot more about the Constitution and immigration enforcement as you ever know. I mean, I had to educate her during congressional testimony that entering the country illegally is a crime. So, whatever.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering. America. Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. In politics, because it's a two-party system, rivalries will develop, much like you see in sports, in competitions, in entertainment, all the other stuff in our culture. It sort of lends itself to rivalry because you always have people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, fighting over different issues of concern. And in those fights, these rivalries will develop when people are talking about the same issue and they kind of run into each other over and over again.
You know what they say, familiarity breeds, contempt.
That's what we're seeing now with the return of the director of ICE, Tom Homan, and AOC. They're clashing over ICE conducting these raids across the country looking for violent, illegal immigrants to deport out of the country. Well, AOC is once again stepping into Tom Homan's orbit, much like she did in Congress a couple of years ago. We'll revisit that moment. And she is obstructing maybe what ICE is trying to do, to the point where Tom Homan is asking the DOJ for an opinion as to whether AOC's recent actions should result in charges against her and prosecution. We're going to delve into this rivalry, but before we do all that, I'm going to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows, and if you like what you see in this video or any other video on the channel, you guys know what to do already. You're going to smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that really, really good stuff, because all that's going to help this channel grow even more than you've been doing lately, thanks to the YouTube algorithm. As always, gang, thank you so much for all that you do to help grow the channel, whether it's here on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, or on Instagram and Facebook. The past couple of weekends, we've exploded because of you guys. Close to over 1 million views over the weekends on our short videos and on different platforms combined. Thank you for all that you do to help grow the channel. And if you're a newbie out there, why not join some of the hundreds of people who have joined this channel as a subscriber, especially if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video on the channel. Today, we're talking about this rebirth of a rivalry between AOC and Tom Homan. Before we get to the rivalry between AOC and Tom Homan, let's set the stage a little bit concerning Homan's actions since he's been reappointed as a director of ICE. He's been pretty busy in the first month of this administration.
ICE has arrested nearly 12,000 illegal immigrants from January 20th through February 8th, compared to just about 5,000 arrests during the same period last year. Arrests of fugitives at large have soared 156%, while arrests of suspected gang members has more than doubled. ICE! ICE! ICE!
Sounds to me like Homan is ratcheting up things very well, and he's on the side of the angels here. After all, no one would want a violent illegal immigrant to remain in the country. Why would they get the privilege of remaining here when we have so many legal immigrants in process right now trying to get into this country that are doing the right thing, that are trying to enter legally, that would be a benefit to society and our communities? Tom Homan seems to be doing the right thing, and I don't get why the sanctuary jurisdictions are impeding him. But let's listen to Homan talk about the work on the ground by ICE in these sanctuaries.
The arrests are up, and yet you still get pushback from the sanctuary cities. How significant is that pushback, and is it stopping you from doing your job?
Oh, it's absolutely not going to stop us. I mean, it makes our job more difficult, makes the job more dangerous. I mean, the numbers, as you said, we're more than twice the numbers as Joe Biden had a year ago from today, and the vast majority of them being public safety threats. But am I happy? No, I want more, because we had, last count, we had over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions walking the streets of this country. So
that's a big number. 600,000 illegal immigrants with criminal history. I'm sorry, but if you come to this country illegally, that's one thing. But if you then come here illegally and start committing crimes, you gotta go. That should be a zero tolerance policy. Those people have to leave. No pass and go, no collecting $200. Although if you've listened to past videos, they apparently get a gift bag on the way out when the Biden administration was around. So that was something for them. Let's let Homan continue, though.
Got a lot of them to find, but sanctuary city makes it difficult. What's most concerning, though, it makes it more dangerous. When we can arrest a bad guy in a county jail, if one officer arrests one guy in the safety and security of county jail or a state prison, but when these sanctuary cities release a public safety threat back into the public, which on its face is just ridiculous, it's more dangerous for the ICE officers to make that arrest. It's more dangerous for the alien, and it's certainly more dangerous for the communities. Releasing a public safety threat back in the community is just dumb, and it puts the communities at great risk of more crime. So we want to work with the sanctuary cities and get into the jail. Give us access to the guy that you locked in a jail cell. That's who we want to talk to.
No lies detected, no spin detected. Tom Homan is a straight shooter. Anytime he opens his mouth, he gives you a direct answer. I like that about him. He's been doing that way for years. And that's why I think he's a target by a lot of Democrats, because he is such a straight shooter. He's very blunt. He doesn't give political spin. He doesn't play the game that politicians play. Maria Bartiromo is now going to ask Tom Homan about AOC.
Well, I mean, look, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doing webinars to explain to illegal immigrants how to evade ICE arrests. And
for those of you who don't know what Maria is talking about, let's show you right now.
So, number one, if you live in a community with a lot of immigrants, know your rights. That's one tangible thing you can do that I want you to do. And I'm going to go through what that means. And that means know your rights if you are a U.S. citizen as well. ICE went into the city of Chicago, and Chicago had prepared for them. Community organizers, activists, and their mayor and local elected officials who were solid on this issue, they educated the city on their legal rights. Because what ICE tries to do is that they rely on people not knowing their rights in order to enter buildings, in order to search workplaces, etc. So when you know your rights, you are able to tell them no, and they do walk away.
You said maybe she's going to be in trouble now, and she says maybe he can learn to read the Constitution would be a good place to start.
And so the rivalry reignites. They're sniping back at each other on social media, AOC, actively working against ICE. Yes, it's knowing your right webinars, I guess, if you want to call it that, but why would AOC want violent, criminal, illegal immigrants to fight for their rights to stay in the country? What's the motivation behind that? I can understand if you want to talk to the population in general about that, or if you want to go to a community meeting where you have active community members and you want to host these seminars in different places where law-abiding citizens would be, so that way their rights are protected. And also, those who are here illegally, they have certain rights in the People's Republic of New York. Sure, I think knowing your rights is a very good thing. But to do so openly and notoriously in a manner when you know the context of the situation, that Tom Homan and ICE are looking for violent offenders, why give a violent offender a head start on law enforcement? It's pretty sus to me.
She's continuing her resist efforts against your efforts, Tom.
Look, I forgot more about the Constitution and immigration enforcement as you ever know. I mean, I had to educate her during congressional testimony that entering the country illegally is a crime. So, whatever.
I love that. I absolutely love that. By the way, if you don't know the reference that Tom Homan is making, let me show you right now.
Flashback.
Family separation, the way that we have seen it, where we take children away from their parents without due process, began last year under Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, but I had to dig further. And our staff dug further, but where did this start within the administration? She implemented it. And we found a memo. It dates back to April 23rd of 2018. Mr. Homan, your name is on this, is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
So Homan, having mopped the floor with AOC in the past when it comes to the law, seeing that comment from AOC saying, well, you should know more about the Constitution, yeah, I think he knows his stuff and has proven that to her in the past.
But what she needs to do is read the statutes enacted by Congress. Title 8, United States Code 1324, United States. Title 8, United States Code 1324 and 25. That's what she needs to read, because it's illegal to enter this country. It's a crime to enter this country illegally. Not only that, when you harbor and conceal and impede law enforcement, that's a felony.
Go memorize.
Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show.
So what she's doing, she says she's educating them as to the constitutional rights, and we all know they got constitutional rights. But what she's really doing, you and I and the rest of the country knows, she's trying to teach them how to evade law enforcement. Now I just said, well, out of the gate, we're concentrating on public safety threats, national security threats. So she's educating those in the country illegally with a significant criminal conviction, public safety threat. Don't open your door, don't dot the I's. Here's how you invade law enforcement. Let's hope she's not educating the next person who gets out and murders a young college student in Georgia. I mean, these are bad people we're looking for. So she can call it education all she wants, but we all know it's about evading law enforcement. These people have been ordered removed. The people we're looking for right now have final orders. They're criminals. They're in the country illegally. A judge has ordered them removed. They become a fugitive. And these are the folks she's helping? So I've asked the Department of Justice to look at this. Where is the line on impediment? Where does that fine line so we can instruct ICE officers what they can do when people don't open the doors or try to evade their arrest? So I simply asked DOJ, give me a legal opinion, because every Department of Justice will interpret things differently. What is the legal opinion on impediment? And we'll see what happens.
Now, obviously, because we're dealing with a very high-profile person like AOC, this legal question that Homan is presenting to his own DOJ, it's very sticky. It's a sticky wicket here, right? Because of the high-profile nature of AOC. And while we await the legal opinion from DOJ, let's talk a little bit about the political ramifications of that. Do we want ICE or Tom Homan to arrest AOC to make her a martyr to the cause and bring sympathy in public opinion to what AOC was trying to bring to light here, whether or not ICE is being too heavy-handed or not? I tend to disagree with Homan about whether or not this is impediment, but I am not an immigration expert. But being a political observer, I can say I think that the can of worms that Tom Homan wants to open here, while possibly legal, and we'll wait on that legal opinion, is more impactful than the legal opinion itself. Does Donald Trump want to deal with the martyrdom of AOC in this respect when it comes to illegal immigration? After all, AOC has been working on this issue and has been clowned time after time. We showed you the interaction between Homan and AOC back in, I think it was 2019. What about the performative nature of AOC at the border, crying at a chain link fence that was exposed for being a complete photo op and a farce? Do we really want to give more credit to AOC? Because her credit on this issue, not exactly great. Her credibility is low. So by Tom Homan picking a further fight by trying to see if AOC is actually impeding as a matter of law, sounds like that we're giving AOC too much credit for what she's doing. Granted, this comes in the frustration of dealing with sanctuary jurisdictions, and Pam Bondi has already made her mind up to go after these jurisdictions in the courts themselves. Maybe Pam Bondi wants to use AOC as an example of people in New York doing that. Maybe she wants to sue AOC for doing that in the same vein that she's suing Kathy Hochul or that she's suing the mayor of Chicago. There are better ways of handling this than slapping cuffs on AOC, in my opinion. But Tom Homan is a law enforcement guy, and that's sort of the solution that he sees to many problems facing his own work being carried out. So while you have the high ground at this point, Mr. Homan, Director Homan, don't go too far in overplaying your hand. As for the opinion about impediment, cool. Following up on actually charging her with impediment, I think that is a political nightmare for the Trump administration and should be avoided at all costs. Let AOC be AOC. Let her be the butt of jokes like she is with that video from 2019. Let her be laughed at like it was when she was doing that performative posing at the border, quote unquote, in front of that chain link fence. And let her go out there and do all the webinars she wants and let it look like she's helping violent criminals who are here illegally evade the law. That's the politics of it all, and that all damages AOC as a serious person when it comes to immigration enforcement. Just let her go and do her thing. Let her cook, and she'll take care of herself. But listen, that's just my opinion on all of this. I want to know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments, and as always, like and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. Am I off base here by taking up for AOC? Do you want Tom Homan to lock her up? Is the solution to all these things to just lock her up? I want to know what you think about this video and all the other shenanigans and buffoonery happening every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.